Okay, good evening, everyone. Thanks again for joining this meeting. This is a pre-construction public meeting for the Greater Como and Rosemont Street improvements, also known as 2022 Bond Year 2, Contract 11, City Project number 104212, presented by me. I am the City of Fort Worth's project manager with the Transportation and Public Works Department. We also have in the meeting is the design consultant and the construction contractor in this meeting to provide any insight on the project. So the purpose of this meeting is to provide the project scope and what improvement are in each street. The meeting is also to provide any information regarding construction and the anticipated schedule that will be for each section. So I'll go over today's agenda. First, we'll start off with the project overview, the summary of improvements, construction information, proposed construction schedule, and we'll save it very last for any questions or comments. So we'll go ahead and go over the project overview. So here's a list of the streets and their project limits. I want to mention first that with this 2022 bond, TPW does partner with the water department to replace any water or sewer pipes that is in need of replacement within the project area. So I've noted which streets will either be bond funded or water department funded. So I'll start off with a group of streets that are on the top left map. The first street is Carver Drive from Hervey Street to Prevost Street, which is bond funded. Carver Drive from Prevost Street to Merrick Street, which is water department funded. Prevost Street from West Vickery Boulevard to Helmick Avenue, water department funded. Fernando Drive from Hervey Street to Prevost Street, which is bond funded. Now I'll move on to the section of the bottom. The group of streets are on the bottom right map. First, we'll have Fraser Avenue from West Biddison Street to Cleburne Road, bond funded. Wayside Avenue from West Butler Street to West Biddison Street, which is water department funded. Wayside Avenue from West Wagaman Street to Dixon Street, water department funded. Wayside Avenue from West Boat Street to Drew Street, bond funded. 8th Avenue from West Pafford Street to West Dixon Street, bond funded. West Drew Street from Wayside Avenue to Fraser Avenue, water department funded. West Boat Street from McCart Avenue to East Railroad, water department funded. Fraser Avenue from Flint Street to West Boat Street, bond funded. Townsend Drive from Flint Street to West Drew Street, bond funded, and Townsend Drive from West Drew Street to West Pafford Street, which is water department funded. So those are the list of the streets and their limits within this project. So next we'll move on to summary of improvements. So as you can see here are some of the existing conditions of the street as they are today. On this slide we can see Fraser Avenue on the left photo with damaged pavement and curb and gutter, as well as on the right photo is shown at the intersection of Townsend and Boat, which have damaged pavement and curb and gutter as well. Next, we'll move on to a couple more photos of the existing additions. You can see similar conditions of deteriorated asphalt all along these roadways of Wayside and Townsend. You can also see some damaged driveways and sidewalk all along Wayside Avenue. And next are just some additional pictures, just showing some damaged pavement and missing curb and gutter along 8th Avenue. So before we get started with the summary of improvements, I do want to mention that these streets have been grouped by location and type of improvements for presentation purposes. So first, for the summary of improvements at Prevost Street, Carver Drive, and Fernando Drive, the limits are Carver Drive from Hervey Street to Prevost Street, which is number 1. Carver Drive from Prevost Street to Merrick Street, number 2. Prevost Street from West Vickery Boulevard to Helmick Avenue, number 3. Fernando Drive from Hervey Street to Prevost Street, which is number 4. All of these streets will be getting water improvements, replacing the existing 8-inch water line with a new 8-inch water line. Sewer improvements, which will only be on Prevost Street only, will be replacing the existing 8-inch sewer line with a new 8-inch sewer line. For pavement improvements, just in Fernando and Carver number 1, they will be getting new concrete pavement with concrete curbs. new concrete driveways with 11-foot minimum width or match existing width, and new 5-foot sidewalk on the north side of the streets, both streets. For pavement improvements on Prevost and Carver number 2, those streets will be getting new asphalt pavement. Next, we'll move on to summary improvements of Fraser Avenue, Wayside Avenue, and 8th Avenue. I'll start with the list of streets and the limits. Fraser Avenue from West Biddison Street to Cleveland Street, number 5. Wayside Avenue from West Bolt Street to West Drew Street, number 8. And 8th Avenue from West Pafford Street to West Dixon Street, number 9. Fraser Avenue from Flint Street to West Bow Street, number 12. So these will all be getting water improvements. We'll be upgrading the existing 6-inch water line to a new 8-inch water line. For pavement improvements, we'll have new concrete pavement with concrete curbs, new concrete driveways with 11-foot minimum width or match existing width, and new 5-foot sidewalks on both sides of the street. So the summary improvements from Townsend Drive from Flint Street to West Drew Street, number 13. This street will be getting water improvements, upgrading the existing 6-inch water line to a new 8-inch water line. It will also be getting sewer improvements, upgrading the existing sewer line from the 6-inch sewer line to 8-inch sewer line. For paving improvements, this street will be getting new concrete pavement with concrete curbs, new concrete driveways with 11-foot minimum width or match existing width, and new 5-foot sidewalks on both sides of the street. So the summary of improvements for West Bolt Street. So the limits are from McCart Avenue to East Railroad. This will be getting water improvements. We'll be replacing the existing 12-inch water line with the new 12-inch water line. For the sewer improvements, we'll be upgrading the existing sewer from 6 to 8 inches. And for pavement improvements, this will be new asphalt pavement. So last for the summary of improvements are on Wayside Avenue, West Drew Street, and Townsend Drive. I will give the list of the streets and their limits. We'll start off with Wayside Avenue from Butler Street to Biddison Street, number 6. Wayside Avenue from West Wagaman Street to West Dixon Street, number 7. West Drew Street from Wayside Avenue to Fraser Avenue, number 10. Townsend Drive from West Drew Street to West Pafford Street, number 14. These will all be getting water improvements. So we'll be upgrading the existing water from 6 inches to 8 inches. For pavement improvements, we'll be getting new asphalt pavement. For Wayside Avenue number 6, this street will be getting new concrete driveways with 11-foot minimum width or match existing width. Next, we're going to go ahead and move on to construction info. This is essentially just a list of frequently asked questions that residents usually have before the construction phase starts. So first off, why are we doing this project? So as of May of 2022, residents of Fort Worth voted to pass a bond program to fund street reconstruction projects and target locations most in need of improvements. In addition to the 2022 bond program, as mentioned previously in the presentation, TPW is partnering with the water department to replace any utilities in need of improvements. How will we know construction is starting? So you will receive a 7-day notice on your door, such as the one shown, 7 days before construction starts in the street. So these notices will be delivered for any major construction work that will happen within your street in that upcoming week. Additionally, you will also receive a 1-day notice on your door before construction starts. So will our water be turned off? So during the construction of the new water line, there will be a few times, and at those times, there will be a few hours that the services will need to be turned off. There's one time to transfer the existing line to the temporary water line to allow the contractor to install the new line. And once the new line is installed, they'll have to turn off the water to transfer from the temporary line to the new water line that the contractor just installed. So you will be notified before that water is turned off. Do you replace the water service line up to my house? So as part of the project, the city will replace the existing water meter, the meter box, and the service line. So the service line will be replaced up to the property line. If you see running water down the street, don't turn it off. As part of the construction process, the water line has to be flushed and tested to ensure it is free of any contaminants. So this is just part of the construction process. So please don't make an effort to try to turn off the water. It's just part of the construction process to make sure that it's flushed and tested. So how does the temporary line impact my home and water bill? So during the water installation, your service will be connected to the temporary water line. So during this time you are connected to the temporary line, your water bill will be based on previous usage. So will you need access to our property, or will our services be disrupted? So in most cases, we will not need access to your property, as all the work will be within city property. However, in the case that we do, we will let you know ahead of time. Also, you will not be interrupted during the installation of the sewer service. So what part of sewer line are customers responsible for? So as discussed previously, we will be replacing the water and sewer service up to the property line, as you can see on the diagram. This is a good representation of where our limits stop and where the property owner's limits begin. Will the construction affect my irrigation? In the case that you do have sprinkler system, the contractor may ask you to turn it on to locate it before starting any work near those areas. Are we getting new curb, gutter, and sidewalks? So all curbs and driveways will be replaced on bond-funded streets. For water department funded streets, limited portions of the existing curb and gutter will be replaced. Sidewalks will be included in majority of the bond-funded streets. So will I be able to access my driveway? So during most of the construction timeline, you will have access to your driveway. The only time you will not have access to your driveway is if the contractor is paving directly in front of your driveway or replacing your driveway itself. But they will coordinate with you ahead of time to make sure when your driveway is not accessible. So what happens if my property is damaged? So the contractor is responsible for taking before pictures and videos, but we also do encourage everyone to take before pictures and videos of themselves in the case of if property does get damaged. So will there be lane closures during construction? So during construction, there will be lane closures during the water and sewer installation, as well as for subgrade preparation and paving. So there will be signs on each end of the roadway to alert motorists of this lane closure. So will the city's trash truck be able to pick up my trash and recycling during construction? In the case that your side of the street is closed, the contractor will move the trash to the opposite side of the street so that it can be collected by all of the residents. Or for all of the residents, as I should say. How do I report an emergency or non-emergency? So if you have any emergency, please call the first number that is listed above. This is available 24 hours a day. For non-emergencies, you can call the second number displayed. We also do encourage everyone to go and download the Fort Worth app. It is a great app to get information regarding any news around your area, and you can also provide any comments or concerns in this app as well. So we'll go ahead and move on to construction phasing and schedule. So here's some typical photos of the construction process. So for these type of projects, water and sewer line installation will be first. Once that is complete, the contractor will install temporary pavement to allow traffic in and out until the paving contractor starts their work on that specific street. So here's a typical, some typical construction photos during a concrete pour. This is a concrete construction process. So for concrete streets, existing curbs, driveways, and pavement are removed. Then pavement and curb are installed together, and driveways are installed last. So for typical asphalt construction process, so for asphalt paving, existing curb and driveways are removed and replaced first, followed by the demolition of the pavement itself, and the installation of the asphalt pavement follows after. So on these two photos, you can see what the street would look like if it's your streets will be asphalt, which is on the left, or a new concrete street, which is on the right. Here are also some additional photos showing some new concrete sidewalk with the photo on the left, and new ADA pedestrian ramps at the intersections on the right photo. Next, we'll go ahead and move on to the project schedule. So this is the anticipated project schedule that we have for this construction project. Construction start date is at April 14th. I'm going to go ahead and go down the list. We'll start off with Carver Drive, Fernando Drive, and Prevost Drive. Utility improvements are anticipated to start April of 2025 and finish in July of 2025, followed by paving improvements anticipated to start in September of 2025 and then in January of 2026. For Fraser Avenue, Townsend Drive, Boat Street, and Drew Street. Utility improvements in this area are anticipated to start in May of 2025 and end of February 2026. Pavement improvements are anticipated to start in January of 2026 and end in June of 2026. Fraser Street North and Wayside Avenue, utility improvements are anticipated to start August of 2025 and end in February 2026. Pavement improvements are to start in October of 2025 and end February 2026. For 8th Avenue, utility improvements are anticipated to start sometime in December of 2025 and finish in February 2026. Pavement improvements for 8th Avenue are anticipated to start in February 2026 and finish in July of 2026. So this brings our finished construction sometime in July of 2026. Okay, so where can I get more information? So the first link will take you directly to the city's project website. I do encourage everyone to copy down this website. During construction, we do update it monthly to give everyone kind of an idea of what is going on in this project that month and what's anticipated to go on in the next month. So this will help you learn about what's going on during the construction phase, and you'll be able to see soon whenever it will be in your area. The second link, you can also go to, just the www.fortworthtexas.gov, and you can enter the number 104212, which is the city project number, in the search bar, and it will take you directly to the city's project's website. So as mentioned, the link to this meeting and the project map, the project summary frequently asked questions will be uploaded to the project webpage. Okay, so that concludes my presentation. So we'll go ahead and open it up for questions or comments. I think I did see some questions that were typed up in the chat. So let me see if I can go find those.
Christian, I can read those out for you.
Okay.
So we'll go ahead and read the questions in the chat real quick, and then after that, if anybody wants, they can unmute themselves and ask the question that way. But we'll go ahead and start with the questions that are already in the chat. So the first question we got was, I live on 8th Avenue, received information from the city that Dixon was also supposed to be improved. So yes, between the design public meeting and this public meeting, Dixon Street and this for that street segment was removed from this project. It was a water department funded street, and it overlapped with a separate water department project that is upcoming. And so that section was moved to that project. So there's still going to be improvement on that street in the future, but it will not be as part of this project.
Yeah, that is correct. And I want to add on that. So they will be, and the limits are to extend beyond what we in this bond program we were going to do for Dixon Street. So it just overlaps with our project. So we handed it over to the water department to finish that project out.
Okay, the next question is the difference between the water department and bond funded. So the difference is the type of improvements for the paving. So the bond funded streets, the ones that were voted for by the city of Fort Worth and are receiving bond funding. So those streets are going to be a full reconstruction in concrete with full curb and gutter replacement and full driveway replacement along those streets. For the water department funded streets, they will be paved with asphalt, and there will be some limited curb and gutter and driveway replacement where needed. The next question is, will entrances to driveways also be improved? If so, how far into the driveway? So as mentioned, for bond funded streets, we will be replacing all driveways along the streets that we're improving, and we will be replacing them with concrete up to the property line. For water department streets, there will be some driveways that will be replaced where needed. The next question is, will trash pickup be interrupted? Yeah, no. So I think there was a slide on this, but the contractor will work with you to make sure that your trash continues to be picked up, whether that means moving trash cans to the other side of the street or something like that to ensure that trash is picked up as normal.
Yeah, I'm going back to that slide, Greg, to kind of show what we discussed about in the presentation. So just I guess CE Stevenson, so you can, if you can read the slide. Yeah, contractor, if that part of the street is closed down, the contractor will go ahead and move it to the other side so that all trash can be picked up in that area.
Okay, the next question I see in the chat is, who do we speak to if we want to add a school speed bump on our street, since McCart is the next big street and cars drive on Wayside to avoid slower speed limits but go extremely fast? If you would you please send Christian an email with your concern separately, and we will make sure that gets to the correct people.
Yes, and let me put my information on the presentation. So just real quick, so this is the contact information for me. I am the project manager, Christian Cardona. So please feel free to jot down my information, as well as I have the construction inspector. He's going to be out there majority of the time, mostly every day when construction is going on. His name is Steve Johnson. So if you can jot down our phone number and our email, if you have any concerns, if you have any questions about the project, or if you have any concerns later on whenever construction starts. So.
Okay, the next question is, any trees that have grown to the point where sidewalk has been lifted, will the tree be removed or sidewalk diverted around it? I'm not sure which tree in particular you're referring to, but in general, it really depends on the tree and the area that it's in. We work with the city forester on any trees that are on the project to see whether they can be saved, whether we divert sidewalks around them, or whether the construction in the area would be would damage the tree to the point where it had to be removed. So we do try to save trees wherever possible, but there are going to be some situations where it's just not possible. Next question, will walkways from the curb to the portions of houses be replaced? So walkways from the curb will be replaced up to the property line if they are existing right now, but we will not be making any improvements past the property line onto private property. The next question is, can we get the slides? So this presentation is being recorded, and so it will be on uploaded to the city's YouTube site for future reference. I believe that the slide may also be put on the city's website.
Yeah, that's
on
correct.
The project. There's a follow-up question regarding the trash, regarding bulk trash. Is there a particular bulk trash day on the street? I'll let you follow up on that. So there is bulk trash. Is it a specific day every week or once a month or something? Once a month. Okay. I think we may have a representative from the contractor. Dan, are you on the call or available to answer how you guys deal with bulk trash?
Hey, Dan, I think you're
Maybe.
muted. I guess if you can't do it, then maybe you could probably type it in as a response.
Well, while we're seeing if Dan can get unmuted, I'm going to take the next question. So the same applies to Fraser Avenue. Okay, so this is regarding the question about the speed bumps and stop signs. The cars go super fast and do not stop at the stop sign. Can we send information to Christian on speed bumps and adding a four-way stop to Fraser and Flint? Yes, you can an email to Christian, and we'll make sure that gets to the correct place. I do want to mention that the best time to do a speed study or a stop sign study is after the construction has completed. So that may be the case, but you can send the information to Christian. We'll make sure it gets to the correct location. There's a question. Can you please pull up the slide again showing which streets are water department funded and which are bond funded? Sure, Christian, can you go back to that slide?
Yes, I'm going over there to. Give me just a second, sorry. All right, now the slide's pulled up now, and so on the very end of the street limits, there'll be a dash, and they'll have either bond funded or water department funded. So that's what be able to decipher which one's which. And I believe there was a link sent by CE Stevenson, I guess, of when their bulk trash is picked up, their schedule. But we could take a look into that with Dan McClendon, the contractor, and ensure that that bulk trash is picked up during that first. I'm assuming, I think it's probably the weekend of the first weekend of the month or second weekend of the month. I think that's how they usually do it. Okay, so I think we did get a response. So regarding from Dan McClendon, so regarding bulk trash, we have equipment that can move bulk trash to a place on the street where it can be accessed. There will be very few times during the job, though, that this would be an issue. So yes, so it sounds like that the contractor does have equipment to be able to move the bulk trash so that it can be picked up.
Okay, I see a question. Will narrow streets be widened because there isn't enough room for vehicles to park on both sides and two vehicles passing by? No, we are not going to be widening the streets. We're going to be putting the streets back at the width that they're currently at.
Okay, I think there was a couple of
Oh, did I miss the
questions.
question?
Yeah, there was a couple questions from Juan. I want to extend my driveway, making it a double car driveway. I want to ask the city for a permit to do that. Should I wait till the street is fixed, or can I do that now? I guess Greg, give me some assistance on this as far as double driveway. It's usually a case by case basis on these driveways.
He needs to get a permit first before we start the construction.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Kristen, there's two questions about the driveways. One, if they wanted to be widened, if you want to widen your driveway, you need to get a permit before our project, and then you can work with the contractor. It will be, I don't know, Dan will have to answer that. Is he willing to pay more and get paid privately? I think one of the question is asking that. So that's between you and the contractor. The city is paying the contractor for specific limits and specific widths as it exists today. If you want anything beyond that, it will be between you and the contractor. And I think you will have to wait until they're working in front of your house and your location to coordinate with them. So if you want to widen, yes, you want to get the permit before our project, but don't construct it. So you can get the permit and wait until we are there.
Yeah, and I think Dan responded to some part of that question. So regarding paving for beyond the right of way, it sounds like we'd be happy to accommodate these cases. So please send your information to one of our supervisors at that point when the utility work is complete and paving work is beginning. So our company allows our supervisors to handle these driveways replacement directly with the homeowner, and this saves the homeowner. So it sounds like the contractor is willing to, whatever improvements beyond what the city had, the contractor is willing to make those improvements. Just coordinate beforehand.
So Kristen, there is another question about the cars parked in the street.
Okay, let me see if I'm rolling through this either. There are numerous cars parked on the street on both sides due to limited parking. How is this issue typically handled during construction? So we will ask whoever owned the car owner to move it maybe on the intersection, at the end of the intersection, because we will need that space, especially in the time where we're doing pavement work. Those cars will have to be moved before our paving work starts. So that's how we typically would do it. We would just notify the car owner to move the car maybe at the end of the street so we can start and finish our construction paving work.
Kristen, even when they're doing the water line, they will have to move the cars because there is not enough space for the contractor to work and for the car to back.
Yeah, and
So you will have
sometimes
to move your cars even during the day. So during the working hours, you will have to move your cars.
Yes, sometimes in instances, the utilities are in the location where the cars are parked, so they would have to be moved for the contractor to remove and install the new utilities. So there's another question.
Go ahead, Christian.
There's another question. I know you mentioned talking to the contractor for further paving without a pocket. Does this also pertain to further fixing our personal water lines that does not belong to the city? So anything in as far as any kind of water line issues in the private property, I believe the best situation to do is probably hire a plumber, a private plumber to do any work and fix any issues that are pertain to personal water line issues. In this case, usually the contractor just installs water line up to the private property. That they don't go well beyond the private property to install any, especially if it's any issues related to personal water lines. Again, another question from Juan. I'm sorry I joined the meeting late, so I don't know if you talked about replacing the water services on Wayside. So we did discuss of Wayside Avenue. So we are replacing, I believe, on all portions of Wayside Avenue. We'll be getting a new water line, and we'll be replacing the new services all the way up to the property line. And these will also be getting new meters, and where there's existing meters, they'll also be getting new meters and new meter boxes. So there's a couple of portions of Wayside that we're doing, and all of these do have proposed new water lines to be installed in these streets.
Okay, I believe we've covered every question in the chat. If there's anybody else on the call that would like to either enter a question in the chat or maybe even unmute yourself to ask the question, now is the time.
Hello.
Hello, we can hear you.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify something. I was going to ask about the tree because I have in my property, there's a large pecan tree that's between the street and the sidewalk. And over the years, the roots have grown to the point where the sidewalk is lifted. I have contacted the city and forestry now 3 or 4 years now, and nothing's been done about it. So that's why I was wondering if they're putting in new sidewalks, will they end up having to go around it, or will they have to remove it?
Stevenson, if you can send your information of where you live, and we can take a look into this and see what area you're talking about. But we do go on site visits with the city forester to determine if trees can be removed or not, especially if it's in city right of way. If it's in city right of way, that he will ultimately make the determination if that tree can be removed or not. But
sending it to who? Who do I need to send that information to?
Yeah, if you can send it. So yeah, this is Christian Cardona, the project manager. If you can send me your information, I can take a look into this to see what street and address you're on.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, looks like there is another question in the chat. Do we need permits to fix the plumbing that is further in? Oh, the part that does not belong to the city. I'm not sure I know the answer to this question. I don't believe so. Maybe if the contractor or somebody else knows the answer. Yeah, we can look into that for you.
Greg, am I understanding? Yes, the city
Yeah.
will require a permit from
It does re-
the from a plumber. Yes, so they will have to go. Depend on if you're coming from the outside, from the water line connection to inside your house. Yes, you will need a permit. Your plumber should be able to pull out a permit easily from the city because they
Okay,
will have to come on and inspect it. That's my understanding.
okay, thank you, Mary.
Yeah, by a licensed plumber. I'll add on that.
Okay, there's another question. Could you give us an approximate date as to when the project will begin on Wayside Avenue? Can you go back to your schedule slide, please?
Yes. Depending on your part of Wayside, we're anticipated to start utility improvements sometime in August of 2025 and finish in February 2026. For pavement improvements, we're anticipated to start October of 2025 and finish sometime in February 2026. So there's multiple sections of Wayside, so it just depends on that's a more or less anticipated project schedule of those 3 sections of Wayside.
So I think he may miss the slide for the when you're sending the notice. You may need to go and to that slide also, Kristen.
The notice for construction.
Yes.
So if this is the one you're talking about, Mary, I believe. Okay. Yeah. So this you will get notices, a 7-day notice on your door, 7 days before construction starts, so that you're aware of work that's happening soon.
Okay, are there any other questions? You can put them in the chat, or like I said, feel free to unmute yourself to ask the question.
And also for any questions that we weren't able to address in this meeting, please feel free to send me an email and we can further investigate on these questions and get you some answers. And before we end this meeting, I just wanted to mention if anybody has any more questions, please put it on the chat or feel free to unmute yourself. We'll give it just about 1 more minute for any questions or comments. Okay, it sounds like there's no comments or questions. I want to say thanks everyone for joining this meeting. I appreciate everyone coming, and everyone have a great weekend or a good evening. Thank you.